Now, the video game achievement I am most proud of is absolutely God of War's Platinum, which I've spoken about a million times before because I don't have very many Platinums or big achievements. But I'm going to talk to you about another one. I have God of War's Platinum, which I killed all the Valkyries and was very proud of and spoke about it a lot and posted it everywhere because I was like, hell yeah, look at me, I'm the God of War lady who got a Platinum. Woohoo! I got that one. I got Horizon Zero Dawns, which I was also very pleased with and took a lot of work, and also Overcook's Xbox achievement. I keep trying to say Xbox. I've done this take before. I keep trying to say Xbox and saying Xbox because I'm thinking so much about food and Overcooked. That's how ingrained it had to get into my mind to do this achievement. I had to think Xbox, play it on the Xbox. Anyway. It was hard work. I'm very proud of it. I got 3 stars in every level, did all of the stuff. I used to try and play it whilst I was in between cooking at home because like my kitchen and my living room kind of meld into one in my flat. And I'd try and like do all my cooking and set it so I could leave it cooking and then see how fast I could do a level at the same time. And the amount of times I actually overcooked my food made the whole thing a very big exercise in irony. But it was worth it because I got the big achievement. I did the big end thing and I did it all solo because I'm a hero. I'm a massive hero. I did initially do the ending with a 2-player. I did the very last level 2-player. I had to enlist help originally, but yeah, I have done it all solo because I'm just great. I'm a cook. I'm a domestic goddess, overcooked hero. She can do it all. She can do it all. Overcooked, my biggest gaming achievement, which. There's bigger and better things out there, isn't there? There is bigger and better things, but Overcooked is so nice and wholesome and just lovely that it warms my heart. It warms my heart. It warms my onion-smelling, potato-chopping... I can't even remember what other vegetables there are in there. The onions and potatoes are all that's left. Rats. There's rats in it. My rat heart.
So for my one, and this was the inspiration behind this category overall, I finally got the Platinum in Final Fantasy VII Remake. I've never actually got a Platinum trophy before. I never bothered with 100% completions and stuff like that ever since the Xbox 360 days, because for the most part, those goals are just, go find 100 hidden packages, go kill... Literally, the one that put me off was in GTA 4 back in the day, and it was go kill all the pigeons. And I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm never going to do that. I'm never going to bother with the Platinum stuff. And so I always left them. I left Platinum trophies. I left 100% completions and achievements and stuff like that because I just want to play the game and I'm not bothered about combing everything else. And then when Final Fantasy VII Remake came along and dropped into my lap, and I think that game is something exquisitely special, as he gave it 4 stars and not a perfect rating. It's got some issues. Still, Final Fantasy VII is one of the most important things to me overall as a human being. And I thought, look, I'm going to Platinum it. I've heard about the buzz about Platinuming something, about getting everything out of a game, but I finally did it. Now, the way that I got the Platinum literally took me 100 hours, finished the game in 30, and then spent 70 hours rerunning chapters, setting up different things, trying to trigger specific cutscenes, trying to unlock all 9 dresses. Point being that I eventually got to what was my final fight against the Pride and Joy prototype, which is this giant optional mech boss that you can face inside a VR showdown, this optional challenge thing, and that was all I needed to do. And the Pride and Joy thing comes after you fight every other summon in a row as well. So you're fighting Shiva, Fat Chocobo, and then you fight Bahamut, who summons Ifrit, and then after that you get to fight the Pride and Joy thing. So after multiple attempts at fighting these bosses over and over and over again, trying whatever different numbers and types of materia, and the moment that I want to share with you is the bit where my whole party was wiped apart from Tifa, and it was Tifa versus Bahamut and Ifrit. I'm gonna run at Ifrit. I'm gonna Tommy Lee Jones Men in Black it, and I'm gonna just be like, eat me, just go for me, just attack me, and I'll get the health. And so I dodged under Bahamut's like this laser barrage. I dodged around that. I got in front of Ifrit, and thankfully he did do this big nuclear fire attack thing, which gave me over 1,000 health back, and I then had enough HP to weather the storm of summoning or triggering the Arise materia, which got Cloud back in the fight on full health. I then switched over to Cloud, attacked a couple more times, defeated Bahamut, thankfully, which triggered Cloud's limit break, and then I got to use Cloud's limit on Ifrit, and we survived, and then I made it through to the next fight, and I beat Pride and Joy, and I got the Platinum. putting that just coming down from that afterwards took a good half an hour. My heart was just pounding out of my chest. This is the only one that I've got, and I think for the sake of posterity, it might stay the only one. There's something kind of special about only having a platinum trophy for Final Fantasy VII, the remake. So yeah, it's that. It's just clawing victory from the jaws of defeat, and just managing to scrape through. Also, the fact that it was Tifa that got through, just absolute queen, to be honest, absolute queen.
So an achievement that I am particularly proud of is the Clean Hands achievement in Dishonored, the first one, which basically means that you cannot kill anyone throughout the whole game, which can be difficult in some areas because there are some levels which can be quite difficult. You basically do have to be quite stealthy when trying to do the Clean Hands mission, because once you kind of engage with other characters or enemies, it can be very easy to accidentally kill people or even innocent bystanders if you do kind of lose your rag a little bit, which I have done. And what I found more difficult about it is there are certain characters in Dishonored that are really horrible, and after playing it a few times, I managed to finally come to terms with the fact that I wouldn't be able to kill the Pendleton brothers, but in return I did feel a little bit better, because the Pendleton brothers, they are these really sleazy twin brothers who run this like brothel, who they just aren't very nice people. They're the ones that kidnap Emily and they keep her in the brothel, so already they're just not nice people. You kind of see glimpses as to how they're treating Emily within the brothel, and it just made me so angry. Like, as soon as I saw like these sort of images of like visions, I guess, of Emily being with these horrible twin brothers, I could not wait to kill them. So not being able to kill them was horrible. But you then find out that if you give them to Slackjaw, which is the non-lethal option, he actually takes both of them and shaves their heads, cuts out their tongues, and then sends them to work in a silver mine, and nobody knows who they are, and they can't tell anyone who they are because they have no tongues. So that was a reward within itself, knowing that, oh, actually not having to kill them actually gives them probably a fate worse than death. So yes, I was very, very proud of myself to make it through the entire game with not only killing enemies or main characters that you do have the option to kill off, but also holding it together enough to not kill those damn Pendleton brothers, and it was so worth it.
I know I'm talking about RuneScape yet again. I'm really sorry, but I've got to talk about this one because it is genuinely the best achievement that I've gotten in video games. It's basically like just a skill called Hunter, and I've got 99 in it, and I'm really happy with it, and I'll show you exactly what it is. Now, I do also have the Questcape, if you have a look on my gameplay footage now, which enables you to do this. Now, there are 144 quests in the game. Most of them take about 2 hours to about a few days or something like that. Depends how prepared you are, but it takes a very long time to get that. But I'm really happy with this this Hunter Cape. I'll show you basically what you had to do for the whole skill, and it's very easy. You just get this plugin called RuneLight, and you basically track these white things, or if you're not using it, you can see these tracks on the floor, and you basically just track a creature called the herbivore. Now, this comes out later on in like very late levels, like level 80 or so, but this is what you do for the majority of the time. You just track these like seaweed, you track these muddy patches, because you're tracking an animal to capture it and take its herbs. And yeah, it's very fun, and I love the skill so much. There are other things to this skill, but this is the easiest and fastest way to do it, as I found. There are other stuff like hunting red chin chompers, but this is my favourite. So, you've now captured this herbivore, you harvest it, and you gain a lot of experience. And I've done that, if you zoom into the bottom left here, 4,457 times. If you take myself doing that one trip into consideration, that was probably about like a minute or so. They can take around like 30 seconds to 2 minutes, and on average it can take about 85 hours just from 80 to 99 Hunter. And yeah, you can see why I'm proud of it, because this cape not only looked amazing, it took a bloody long time. Now, it's not the longest time you have to spend to get 99. in a skill, but it's definitely my favourite because I love the skill so much. But yeah, I promise I won't talk about Runescape all the time, I swear.
Right, so I don't know what anyone else has picked this week, obviously, because we're all in sadly different rooms now, but I can promise you, nobody's going to have a personal gaming achievement as lame as this. You and I know, especially if he ever watches this, is going to think of me completely different because it comes in Rainbow Six Siege, and specifically the terrorist hunt mode in that game. Because when this game came out, we absolutely blasted it for more or less a solid 2 years, but the one thing we couldn't overcome in that time was beating a single round of terrorist hunt on the realistic difficulty level, which absolutely kicks your ass. It's not that we're all like bad at the game either. We're kind of like the England squad, and bear with me for people who aren't going to get this reference, but we're all pretty decent on our own in online multiplayer games. We can do quite well, often come at the top end of the leaderboard, often, we'll be the top 1 to 3 people on there. But when we come together as a team and we try to overcome a challenge, we just fall to bits and it doesn't work. The synergy just isn't there. We're not very good. We're each other's own worst enemies and we get each other killed all the time. So when it comes to this mode, which sees you having to eliminate a specific amount of enemies before you get killed, essentially, you have to take out all of the terrorists in I think a certain amount of time with 1 life each. And we just couldn't do it because this game is unforgiving, unrealistic, and there are suicide bombers in it that are just the worst things that can just take you out in a second. These bad lads just come running in, they can shoot you while they're running, then they explode and then you're dead. You have to start all over again. And they were the absolute bane of our lives. Every time you heard the distinctive breathing sounds of under their masks, awful. It was like dread would swell up inside our body because we knew no matter how far we'd gotten, we were going to be defeated. We got so used to defeat over those genuine years that the failure sign of you failed terrorist hunt realistic difficulty is actually the banner on my PlayStation profile because I got used to seeing it over and over again. We finally did it. We finally completed 1 map on the entire terrorist hunt mode on realistic, and that was enough. After 2 years, we finally got there. Unceremoniously, we all cheered, all had a big cry, all had a big hug, and then we never played the game again because we'd completed it. So, hours we spent on that. Was it worth it? I can't say, to be honest.
Ooh, the achievement that I'm most proud of, I don't know why I'm talking like somebody's here, there's no one here at all. The achievement that I am most proud of that I have achieved in video games has to be from XCOM Enemy Unknown, and it's called the No Looking Back achievement, which you can only get by completing the game on, it's either classic or impossible difficulty, but with the Iron Man mode enabled as well. Now, for those of you who don't know, the Iron Man mode basically means you can't scum save, you can't just drop out if things are getting pretty hairy and just go like, no, I'm going back to base now, I've lost all my guys, but don't worry, I'm just going to restart it and just keep playing it out for the event that you want to happen. Can't do that. Can't be a scumbag. So that meant that by the time that I'd actually finished this game, my memorial wall of all the people that had died was so incredibly full, and I was so close to losing so many events and being completely overwhelmed that I was having like heart palpitations just thinking about loading up the game. I'd finish playing on it and just be like, okay, that's fine. I'm just going to like calm down for a bit right now, like wheel myself back from the desk and see like claw marks where I've just been like scratching like, no, this is sort of going wrong. So yeah, I lost everybody that I made at the beginning. No one of the original team survived in the slightest. I was dead. I made myself about a few times in that game, died pretty much every single time. Absolutely useless when it came to RNG, but still, I made it through. It was perseverance. Was it worth it? I mean, I could have probably learned a language in the time that I'd spent doing that game, so you tell me. Konnichiwa.